So next one is, so these identities are useful, especially in solving the questions. And these identities, especially the second and third, can also be used in this form. We can also write it as secant theta. So a square minus b square form. So secant theta minus tan theta into secant theta plus tan theta. We can write it as secant theta plus tan theta is equals to 1. So we can write this one like this. And similarly, this one also we can write the third one, we can write it as cosecant theta minus cot theta into cosecant theta plus cot theta. Cosecant theta plus cot theta is equals to 1. So the last two identities, we can actually write it in the form of a square minus b square form. They are in a square minus b square form. We can write them as a minus b into a plus b. Here you see secant theta minus tan theta, secant theta plus tan theta. So the advantage of this is, suppose in some question, let's say they gave us, for example, secant theta plus tan theta is equals to 4. Let us say they gave this, and they ask us to find sine theta. If they ask us to find sine theta, so now we can actually take help of this equation. We can take help of this equation and easily find sine theta. So how we can take help of this equation? See, we know secant theta plus tan theta is 4, right? So secant theta plus tan theta is 4. So we can easily say that if you substitute this here, secant theta plus tan theta. So this is an example where these will be useful. So if you put secant theta plus tan theta as 4, then we'll get secant theta minus tan theta as 1 upon 4. Isn't it? Because you put secant theta plus tan theta as 4 in this identity, you will get 1 upon 4. So from these, so now we have these two equations. So from these, if you just add them once, you will get secant theta, and subtract them once, you will get tan theta. So from here, we'll get secant theta is going to be 1 by 2 times 4 plus 1 by 4. 4 plus 1 by 4, isn't it? And tan theta is going to be 1 by 2 times. Tan theta is going to be 1 by 2 times 4 minus 1 by 4. 4 minus 1 by 4, because you add them once, you'll get 2 secant theta is equal to 4 plus 1 by 4. You subtract them once, you'll get tan theta equal to, or 2 tan theta is equal to 4 minus 1 by 4. That's it. Now we have secant theta and tan theta as well. So once we have secant theta and tan theta, we can easily find sine theta. What is sine theta? Sine theta. So we know tan theta, right? Tan theta is sine over cos. Sine theta upon cos theta. So if we take this cos theta that side, so we have sine theta is equals to tan theta into cos theta. So now cos theta, we can write it as 1 by secant theta. So this will become tan theta upon secant theta. So because cos, we can write it as 1 by secant. That's it. So we have this answer is tan upon secant. So that is, so the answer is going to be 4 minus 1 by 4. 4 minus 1 by 4 divided by 4 plus 1 by 4. Half will get anyway cancelled. Half will get cancelled. So the answer is going to be 15 upon 17. 15 upon 17. So this is how we can find the value of sine theta. So using this with the help of these identities, right? Clear? So this is how we do it. So these are the identities. I know that you all know these identities in 10th class itself, right? So now in 10th class, you might have dealt with when theta is less than 90, right? When theta is between 0 and 90. So now we are going to go for when theta is more than 90 as well, right? So for example, okay, let us go to the next slide. So far, okay, now this brings us to the point of angles, right? So in the original class, what I did is we took some more examples, right, on identities. But now since we want to cover this all whatever we have done today. So I'm not taking more examples. So in the previous case itself, if you want to generalize it, so instead of 4, okay, let me go to the previous slide. So if you want to generalize it, suppose in the question instead of 4, let's say in the question instead of 4, if they give us some value p, if they give us some value p, so then this will be 1 by p. So accordingly, the answer will change. So instead of 4, if p is there, so here also it will become p minus 1 by p. So the answer in that case would be, in general, the answer would be p minus 1 by p divided by p plus 1 by p. Isn't it? You see here. So we have 4 minus 1 by 4 divided by 4 plus 1 by 4 here, right? So here we have 4 minus 1 by 4 divided by 4 plus 1 by 4. Instead of 4, if they give us p, some constant, so the answer would be p minus 1 by p upon p plus 1 by p, which on simplification would be p square minus 1 upon p square plus 1. P square minus 1 upon p square plus 1. So this is the result, final answer. Okay. So now let us go to the next one. So now let us come to angles. Okay. So since trigonometric functions are all about angles, because always sine theta, cos theta. So theta is the angle, right? So let us go to angles now. So what is the meaning of angle? What does it do, right? All those things. So we are going to see angle. So what does angle do? Angle is nothing but its measure of, right? Okay, let me reduce the lines. So angle is nothing but measure of amount of turning or rotation. So turning or rotation from the given reference, because to measure anything we need some reference, right? Because we need the starting point. So measure of amount of turning, right? So the measure of amount of turning or rotation from the reference. So because we need reference, just like anywhere to measure distance, also to measure anything we need some reference. Okay, this is the starting point. So even to measure in kilograms, everything has some measurement, right? Okay, what is the meaning of 1 kg? So the cesium rod kept in some place is measuring 1 kg, something like that. That is the standard they have. So that is the reference. So similarly, here in while measuring angle also we have a reference, and that reference is positive x-axis. So the reference is positive x-axis. So this one, the reference is this, the positive x-axis. So here we have, this is our reference. This is okay. So this is our positive x-axis. This is our reference, and let's say this is origin. So now, how much ever we turn from this, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So we can turn in both the ways, right? We can move either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So this is going to be anti-clockwise, and this is going to be clockwise. So we can move in both the directions. We can move in both the ways. Suppose if we move like this, let's say if we move in clockwise, anti-clockwise direction, so this way, so this one, right? So this angle is measured as positive angle, right? So the anti-clockwise sense is positive. So the reference is like 0. Suppose if I moved 30 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, so I'll call it as plus 30 degrees. So angle is measured in degrees. So now we'll come to this. What is this? Degrees, radians, and grades. So angle can be measured in 3 three systems. So just like we have length can be measured in meters, or length can be measured in feet, and so on. So different measurements are there, so we can do that. Similarly, angle, one measurement for one scale for angle is degrees. So let's say we have moved 30 degrees this way, so we denote it as plus 30 degrees, or just simply 30 degrees. Now let's say if you have moved 45 degrees in clockwise direction from the reference, let's say we have moved 45 degrees, something like this, from the reference in anti-clockwise direction. So this way, sorry, in clockwise direction, not anti-clockwise. This upward is anti-clockwise, downward is clockwise, because if you see in clock, you know this, right? The seconds hand, they will move like this. So this is clockwise sense, and this is anti-clockwise sense. So this is going to be minus 45 degrees. So this we measure it in negative, because we need to know, right, which direction we are moving, right? So this is 30 degrees, this is minus 40 degrees. So this is the convention. So anti-clockwise is positive, clockwise is negative. So this is how we measure the angle. So this measures the amount of turning. If I say 30 degrees, now you have idea, okay, I have to move 30 degrees like this. If I say 90 degrees, you know I have to become exactly perpendicular, right? I have to be exactly 90 degrees. So I have to be exactly like this, 90 degrees. So then in this case, the angle will be 90. And in that case, we denote it with right angle, right? We denote it as right angle. So this angle is 90. Okay, this angle is 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So we denote it as, so this is right angle, 90 degrees. Okay, sorry. So this is going to be 90 degrees. So that's all. Why right angle? Suppose if you are moving, if I tell you to take right turn, right turn, then we will take 90 degrees, right? Suppose if you are moving on a road like this, let's say road is this, so you are moving like this. So if I tell you to take a right turn, what would you do? You would take a 90 degrees turn like this, right? So right turn or left turn. So people started using it as right angle. So this 90 degrees, the two perpendicular lines. So we say this is 90 degrees, right angle. That's why the name, I think, right came, right angle. Right means right turn, right? We say right turn, left turn. So it seems that the word right came from there, right? So anyway, it doesn't, we don't require that. So this is how we measure angles. Now to measure angles, there are actually three scales, but we use only two scales most of the time. In mains and advanced level, we use only two scales, that is degrees and radians. The third scale is grades, right? So okay, so let me write those three scales. So the first scale is so the first scale is degrees, also known as British system or degrees. British system, or this is also known as sexagesimal system, right? So sexagesimal system. So in sexagesimal system, what we do is we take one right angle as 90 degrees, right? So in sexagesimal system, they define this angle as 90 degrees. So you divide this into 90 equal parts. You divide this one right angle into 90 equal parts. And one part is called 1 degree. So now I cannot obviously draw 90 lines, but just for your understanding, right? So this is 90 equal parts. 90 equal parts. So you divide a right angle into 90 equal parts, and take one such part, take one of them, and that is going to be 1 degree. So that is going to be 1 degree, denoted with 1 superscript degree. So 1 superscript degree, right? This one. So this is the symbol superscript O. Superscript O, that is 1 degree. So in sexagesimal system, we divide, so one right angle is equal to 90 degrees. So that's how they defined it, right? So they divided the right angle into 90 equal parts, and one part they called as 1 degree. So one complete cycle would be how much? One complete turn, one complete rotation would be 360 degrees, isn't it? One complete turn would be 360 degrees. One complete turn would be 360 degrees. It is 4 right angles. So 4 right angles is 360, 90 plus. So now this is sexagesimal system. Why the name sexagesimal came? Because they gave, okay, so because of this further division. So 1 degree, you can divide it into 60 equal parts, and each part is actually equal to 60 minutes. So 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. 60 minutes. That means you take 1 degree and divide it into 60 equal parts. And one such part is called 1 minute. So you take a degree, suppose if we have degree is very small, right? So like this. So now you divide this into 60 equal parts. So this one you divide into 60 equal parts. Now you take one such part, and that is going to be 1 minute and denoted by this symbol 1 minute like this, right? Dash, superscript dash. And now you take one such minute and divide it into 60 equal parts, and that is called 1 second. That is 1 minute is 60 seconds. So you take one such minute. So this minutes and seconds have nothing to do with our clock, right? Not minutes and seconds of clock. These are different. So if you take 1 degree and divide it into 60 equal parts, so that will be 1 minute, right? 60 equal, one part is equal to 1 minute. And if you take 1 minute and divide it into 60 seconds, that will be equal to, so one part, 60 parts, one part is equal to 1 second. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So this is where this is useful when telling coordinates, like Earth. If you see, Earth is very big, right? So even for minutes and degrees, right? So here we measure latitude and longitude in terms of angles, right? So even if for small change, even for change in seconds, the place will change drastically. So we can move some kilometers away. So this point and this point, latitude and longitude. So these points will have huge difference, even if the difference between them is in seconds. So if you are looking at a small circle, these will be very, very small, right? So, but if you are looking at a very big sphere like Earth or very large figure, then this will be useful, right? So useful in the sense this will be come into play. Just like suppose we have in length, we have meters, right? Meters, then we have centimeters, then we have millimeters, then we have micrometers like this, micrometers. So they also have their use, right? So similarly it is like this here. So 1 degree further division is 60 minutes and 1 minute further division is 60 seconds. So that's why this is called sexagesimal system, because of the 60. So here you see 60 minutes 60 seconds. That's why the name sexagesimal system. So this is the British system. So you can say this is, okay, this is one scale in which we measure the angle. So this is same as this 30 degrees, 90 degrees, minus 45 degrees, so on. So the complete circle is 360 degrees. So now let us move to the next one. Next one is radian. So the next system of measurement is radian. Radian measure. So we can also measure an angle in radians. So now what is the meaning of radian? 1 radian. So just now we have seen the meaning of 1 degree, right? What is the meaning of 1 degree? So one right angle, take one right angle, divide into 90 equal parts, and one part is 1 degree. Now what is the meaning of radian? Radian means you take a circle. You take a circle. On this circle, Okay, so you take a circle. On this circle, right? So you take a sector. Let's say this is the center. Oh, sorry. So let's say this is the center. You take a sector. So let's say the radius of this circle is r. Okay, just a minute. So let's say this is, so the radius of this circle is r. Okay, just let me write that. So radius is r. So now you take a sector. Okay, you take a sector whose length is also, so you take a sector whose length, so this one, this is the length of the sector, right? So this is the length of the arc. So you take this, now you move this, you keep moving this till this length will become r. So this is anyway radius, so this is r. So you keep moving on the circle till the arc length, this is the length of the arc. So from the reference, you keep moving, not only reference, from any point, right? So from this, you keep moving such that this length of the arc becomes same as the radius. So when you have this sector where the radius of the sector is r and also the arc length is r. So in that case, the angle subtended by this sector is defined as 1 radian. So this is the definition of 1 radian. So this is 1 radian. So denoted by 1 superscript c. So this is 1 radian. 1 radian is equal to, so what is the definition of 1 degree? 1 degree is take a right angle, divide it into 90 equal parts. One part is 1 degree. So that is the definition of 1 degree. And what is the definition of 1 radian? The angle subtended by a sector whose arc length, angle subtended by a sector, angle subtended by a sector whose length of arc, is equal to radius, So this is the meaning of 1 radian. So angle subtended by a sector whose length of arc is equal to, so this is arc length or length of arc. Length of arc is r units. So since this is, you see in all the three sides it is surrounded by r, right? R. So I think that's why the name radians came, 1 radian. So the radian has the word radius, right? So it is surrounded by 3 r's. This is r, this is r, and this is r. So that's why the name radian. As you can see, actually this is close to equilateral triangle, right? Because the 3 sides are equal. In the equilateral triangle, we see the sides will be like this, exactly equal. All 3 are equal. So if you make this curved part into a straight line, we would get an equilateral triangle. In equilateral triangle, this angle is 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. And here, so if you stretch this side, slightly like this, so then this angle will slightly reduce. So that's why 1 radian is approximately equal to 57.3 degrees. 57.3 degrees. Okay, anyway, we'll come to this again later after a few minutes. Okay. So this is the meaning of 1 radian. 1 radian is angle subtended by a sector whose length of arc is equal to the radius. So you take a sector whose arc length is equal to the radius, then that angle is called, that angle is called 1 radian, right? So now in circle, we know that the circumference is 2 pi times the radius, isn't it? So the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. 2 pi, what is pi? Pi is some irrational number. So pi is approximately equal to 22 by 7. So pi in actually, pi is actually this symbol is this s, double s is there, no? That is approximately equal to. The meaning of that is, so the meaning of this symbol is approximately equal to this one. The meaning of this is approximately equal to. And pi is actually, pi is an irrational number. So we cannot write pi, right? We cannot write in the sense, we cannot completely write the value of pi because the numbers keep on coming. That is the nature of irrational number, right? It is going to be 3.1415 and so on. It keeps coming, right? It never ends. No repetition is there. So it keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. So pi is actually 3.1415. So now we know that the circumference of the circle is actually approximately equal to. So circumference is approximately equal to 6.28 times 6.28 times radius. So now when you try to make sectors like this, we'll get 6.28 sectors. That means suppose if I try to make same sectors like this, so the second sector will be here, this would be second, then okay, this would be third, this would be fourth, this would be fifth, and this would be sixth. So you see, this is okay, all these are 6, and this remaining small portion is there, no? That is 0.28. So that is 0.28 radians. So here if you see, so this is going to be 1 radian, 1 radian, then 1 radian, then 1 radian, 1 radian, and this is going to be 0.28 r. This is going to be approximately 0.28 r. So now that's why this if you take six of them, so they will cover till here, 6 radians, and slightly this the remaining portion is 0.28 r. So this is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is approximately 6.28 r. So each r, so this is also r. So each r will subtend 1 radian, right? So all these are 1 radians. So 1, 1, 1. So 6 r plus 0.28 r. So that's why the angle at center. So that's why this angle is 2 pi radians. 2 pi radians, that is approximately 6.28 radians. So this complete angle is 2 pi radians. So this is the definition of 1 radian, and we know angle at center is going to be 2 pi radians because of this. Clear? So now since we have the second scale, we can easily find relation between these two scales. Now what is the relationship? One complete angle. We know one complete angle. So 2 pi radians. 2 pi radians, that is one complete rotation. 2 pi radians is going to be 360 degrees, or you can also write it as 360 degrees in words. So 360 degrees. So 2 pi radians. So if I write 2 pi is equal to 360, this is wrong. 2 pi equal to 360, this is wrong, absolutely wrong. Because 2 pi is actually 6.28. What is pi? Pi is 3.14. Pi is an irrational number, and pi is equal to 3.14. The value of pi is 3.1415 and so on. So 2 pi equal to 360 is absolutely wrong. We should write 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. Just like we can say 1 feet is equal to 12 inches. We cannot say 1 is equal to 12, right? So this makes sense only when you have these feet and inch. When you have these feet and inch, we cannot say this is wrong. We cannot say this, right? So similarly here, so we don't say, but generally people write like this, but the actual is this 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. And the symbol for radians is 2 pi superscript c. So the symbol for radian, 1 superscript c. But sometimes people don't write that c also. That is also accepted notation. If you don't write anything, if I just say 2, that means 2 radians. If I don't write any symbol, either if I write 0, if we write O on the superscript, then it is going to be degrees, right? If we don't write anything, that usually represents radians. So that's why 2 pi. So actually is this 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. This is correct. 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees, or we can also write 2 pi is equal to 360 degrees, because generally even if you don't write superscript c, it is understood that if you just leave it like that, it is understood that it is radians. So the meaning of this is 2 pi is equal to 360. 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees, but you cannot write like this. 2 pi is equal to 360, but you have to put here degrees symbol. 360 degrees symbol should be there. Clear? So this is the relation between degrees and radians, which we are going to use most often. So 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. So what will be pi? So 1 radian is going to be, so just divide this with the 360, right? So 360 by 2 pi, 360 by 2 pi degrees, because we know 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. So 1 radian is going to be 360 by 2 pi, and we know 2 pi is 6.28. So we know 2 pi is 6.28. So this is approximately equal to 360 divided by 6.28, approximately equal to 57.3 degrees. So if you divide this, it is approximately equal to 57.3 degrees. So 57.3 degrees. So 1 radian is 57.3 degrees, right? So this is the relation between degrees and radians. So as I said previously, this is actually almost very close to a right angle equilateral triangle, right? But only thing is one side is a curved side. So usually in equilateral triangle, we have all the three sides. All the three sides are equal. Okay. So in an equilateral triangle, we have all the three sides are equal like this. So this is one side, this is another side, and this is the third side. So we have all three angles 60, 60, 60. So all three angles 60, 60, 60. This is 60, this is 60, this is 60. So this sector is very close to this sector, and this is very close, but only thing is in sector we have to take this side and curve it up, so then it will slightly reduce the angle at this point, isn't it? So if you like this, so if you take this side, if you take this one and curve it up like this, if you curve it up like this, then this angle is going to slightly reduce because this length will decrease. So here you see this distance is going to be this distance. Okay. So this distance is going to be less than r, right? Because the shortest distance will be less than r. So this will be slightly less than r. So that means, so the angle will slightly reduce. So if you curve it up this side, so it will come like this. So these sides will, so the sides will be like this, and curve will be like this. So now this angle will be slightly less than 60, because now since we have curved it up, so the angle will slightly reduce. So since this was 60 degrees, so it will be slightly lesser, and we know that it is actually 57.3 degrees. So it is actually 57.3 degrees. This is R, this is R, this is R. Here also R, R, R. Right. So this is 57.3 degrees, that is 1 radian. So hope things are clear. So this is the definition of 1 radian. So 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. So this is the most important. This one. Okay. So 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. So this is the relation connecting radians and degrees. Clear? Okay, now, so there is one more system that is called sexagesimal system. So the in sexagesimal, sorry, not sexagesimal system, centesimal system. So that is called French system. So I'll just mention that, but we will never use it, right? Nowhere you will come across it. So we'll just see what is that. I'll just mention what are that, and we'll just move on, right? We'll move on to reduction formula, or we'll move on to definition of sine, cos, and reduction formula. So the third system is centesimal system. So the third one, is centesimal system or French system. Just like we have British system, and this is French system. So they are of the opinion why we should follow British, right? We should have our own way of measuring angle. So they started their own system. So this is French system. So in this, what they do is they divide one right angle into 100 equal parts, and one part they call as one grade, right? So here we have one right angle. So we have one right angle. So this they divide into 90 equal parts. They divide into 90 equal parts. So like this. So not 90, 100. So like this. So 1, 2, may not be like this, but something like this. So they divide this into 100 equal parts. So one right angle, they divide into 100 equal parts. So we know 90 degrees, okay, one right angle is equal to one right angle is equal to 90 degrees. In degrees, they have divided it into 90 equal parts, and that's why it is 90 degrees. And here one right angle is equal to 100 grades. 100 grades. So 100 grades. So each one. So this, take one part. This is going to be one grade. One grade. And now you take one grade and divide it into 100 equal parts. So here one complete this would be equal to 400 grades. This would be equal to 400 grades. So it will be slightly smaller than angle, because one full rotation is 360 degrees, but it is 400 grades. So one grade will be slightly smaller than 1 degree, right? Because here we are dividing into more number of parts, right? 90 degrees. So one right angle we are dividing into 90 parts there. Here we are dividing into 100 parts. So it will be slightly smaller each part. So this is one grade, and one grade if further divided into 100 equal parts. So one grade is equal to 100 minutes. 100 minutes. The symbol is same, minutes, same as dash, and 1 minute is equal to 100 seconds. 1 minute is equal to 100 seconds. So these minutes and the minutes in British system, sexagesimal system, are different. So here minutes refer to this French minutes, and seconds refer to French seconds, right? So we don't require this, but just for you, okay, this system is also there, you should know. That's why I have told this. So one complete rotation is 400 grades, and one grade is 100 minutes, and 1 minute is 100 seconds. So that's why it is called centesimal. So here they have taken 100 as the basis. So that's why centesimal system. So that's it. Now let us move on to the most important part. So this is all about angle, right? So now, okay, let me go to the previous slide, where one more important thing is there. So length of the sector. So here, as the definition of radian involves the arc length. So actually we have this famous formula, right? L is equals to r theta. So L is equal to r theta is actually from this. So you see, when L is equal to r, when the length of the arc is when L is equal to r, theta is 1. So theta is 1 radian. So this formula is applicable when theta is in radians. Theta is in radians. So even if they give in degrees, we have to convert it into radians. So we have to convert it into radians and then apply this formula. So length of the arc. So length of the arc L is equal to, so if we have this sector, in this sector we have length L, and this is theta, and this is R. So length of the length of arc L is equal to R theta. Theta must be in radians. L and R are in distances, right? L is in centimeters and R is also in centimeters, but theta should be in radians. Theta cannot be in degrees. So L is equal to R theta. So whenever you use this formula, theta should be in radians. If they say it is 60 degrees, so you should convert 60 degrees into radians. You know 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. So 60 degrees is going to be 2 pi by 6 because 1/6 of this. So 60 degrees is going to be 2 pi by 6 radians. So that is going to be pi by 3 radians. Ideally speaking, we should write pi by 3 C or pi by 3 radians. So, but usually we write 60 degrees is equal to pi by 3 because even if nothing is there, it implies radians. So similarly, here we can convert reverse also. 1 degree is approximately equal to 2 pi by 360 radians. 2 pi by 360 radians. So, okay, this should be strictly equal, right? So this 1 degree is equal to 2 pi by 360 radians, and 2 pi is approximately 6.28. So this is approximately equal to 0.017 radians. 0.017 radians. So we have another relationship. 1 degree is equal to 1 degree is approximately equal to 0.017 radians. This is another relationship we have. So clear? So most of in our JEE, throughout our intermediate, in mains and advanced, we use radians or degrees, only these two, the first and second, British system or radian measure. We never see French system. No one uses here at this level. We don't use French system. So clear. So hope things are clear. So now let us move on to next one. Okay. Okay, let us move on to the next one. That is, what is that? Definition of trigonometric functions, right? So this is definition definition of trigonometric functions, right? So definition of trigonometric functions. So in school you might have learned this thing, right? So in school you have learned sine theta, cos theta. So there we took a right angle triangle. We usually take a right angle triangle and we see what are there, right? So isn't it? So there we know the definition. Let's say if this is theta, so this is perpendicular, this is base, and this is hypotenuse, and this is right angle triangle. In school you have learned this sine theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, cos theta is base upon hypotenuse, adjacent side upon hypotenuse. Tan theta is sin theta upon cos theta, that is nothing but perpendicular upon base. Cot theta is cos theta upon sin theta, so that is base upon perpendicular. Then we have secant theta. Secant theta is 1 by cos theta, or same as hypotenuse by base. And cosecant theta is hypotenuse upon perpendicular. So this you might have learned in school already, but this is valid only when theta is less than 90. But we cannot take theta more than 90, right? In a right angle triangle, so 90 is the maximum possible angle. So theta cannot be less than 90. So here we have seen in school, you have learned that 0 less than theta less than 90 degrees. So we have seen this case where theta is actually between 0 and 90. So we know some of the standard values as well. We know what is sine 30. Sine 30 is half. We know sine 45. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. Sine 60, we know sine 60 is root 3 by 2. Similarly, cos 30, 1 by root 3 by 2. Cos 45, cos 60, all these things we know, right? So now in intermediate, right, or intermediate or in general, we can actually define sine theta, cos theta even for higher angles as well. Not only when theta is between 0 to 90, even if theta is more than 90, we can actually define sine theta. So the actual definition of sine theta and cos theta is, you take a reference. So okay, you take a reference. Okay, let me take the axis. So you take a reference like this. So now you see, if let us consider a line. Let us consider a line. Let us consider this point as P. So this point is O, the reference, and this point is P, some point. Okay. So this point is P, and let's say if this is making angle theta. So if this is making angle theta with the reference, this is the reference, right? Positive x-axis is the reference. So if this is making angle theta with this, if this is making angle theta with this. So now let's say the coordinates of P are x comma y. So some points. So let us take a line OP which makes an angle theta with the positive x-axis, that is the reference. So this one is the reference. Positive x-axis is the reference. So if this line makes an angle theta with this, so the definition of cos theta is given as, so here there is no reference to triangle, nothing like that is there. So the definition of cos theta is, what is the definition of cos theta? Cos theta is where theta is angle subtended by this, where theta is angle subtended by OP, with theta is angle between OP and the reference. So cos of this is equal to, the definition of cos theta is x coordinate of P divided by distance. So the distance is OP, let us call it as D. So the definition of cos theta is x coordinate of P, x coordinate of P divided by distance of P, distance of P from reference, from origin, distance of P. So this is the definition of cos theta. And now this definition we can extend for any angle. Even if theta is 0, even if theta is 90, even if theta is more than 90, we can use this definition always. So this is the actual definition of cos theta. So this definition we can use anywhere, right? We don't have to worry whether it is a right angle triangle or not. So this is the actual definition of cos theta. Cos theta is, you suppose if you want theta, cos of some angle. So you take a line which is making that angle with the reference. So this is the reference, positive x-axis. You take a line which is making theta with the reference, the required angle, and you take any point on that line. So take the x coordinate of that point, x coordinate divided by the distance. That is the definition of cos theta. And what is the definition of sin theta? Sin theta is y coordinate of P, y coordinate of P divided by distance of P. y coordinate of p divided by distance of p. So this is the definition of sine theta. So y coordinate of p divided by distance of p. So these are the, so with this definition, we can actually go beyond 90 as well, right? Even if theta is more than 90, even if theta is 90 or more than 90, we don't have any problem with this. Suppose if I want, for, let's say for 100 degrees. So I'll take a line which is making 100 degrees, which is making 100 degrees with the reference. Let us mark this point as Q. I can take Q anywhere, right? Let us take this as Q. Let's say this is alpha and beta. And let's say the distance is QOP. So now if I want, this is 100 degrees, right? So cos of 100 degrees is going to be, by definition, it is going to be alpha upon OQ. OQ is the length OQ. And sine 100 degrees is going to be beta upon OQ. Beta upon OQ. So this is how we can easily find cos 100 and sine 100. So you just on the graph, you take measure with protractor, take 100 degrees and mark a point, find the coordinates of that point and divide by the distance. So x coordinate divided by distance, y coordinate divided by distance. That will give you the value of cos 100 and sine 100. Cos 100 is going to be negative because here alpha is going to be a negative value, isn't it? Because this is going to be alpha, this coordinate is going to be alpha, and this is going to be beta. So alpha is going to be a negative value because it is on negative x-axis. So alpha is going to be a negative value. So cos 100 is going to be a negative value, whereas sine 100 is going to be a positive value. Clear? So this is the definition of cos theta and sine theta. And now tan theta is nothing but sine theta upon cos theta. So tan theta is easily, we can write it as, and the P should be other than origin, because if you want to define an angle, P cannot be same as O, right? So if P is same as O, then we don't have a line, we just have a point. So P has to be different from O. So then it will surely give us a segment, line segment. And if this segment makes an angle theta with the reference, then cos theta, cos of theta is defined as x coordinate of P divided by distance, sine theta is defined as y coordinate of P divided by distance. So that is the reason why all are positive. All trigonometric functions are positive in first quadrant, because both sine theta and cos theta are positive, because in first quadrant, both x and y are positive. So since we defined it this way, since we have defined them this way, that's why all trigonometric functions are positive in first quadrant, and sine and 1 by sine are positive in second quadrant, tan and 1 by tan are positive in third quadrant, cos and 1 by cos are positive in fourth quadrant. So we'll come to it again in a minute. Okay, so tan theta is going to be sine upon cos. So it is just going to be y coordinate upon y coordinate of P upon x coordinate, x coordinate of P. Right, y coordinate of P upon x coordinate of P. So this is tan theta. Similarly, we can easily write cot theta. Cot theta is reciprocal of tan, that is x coordinate of P divided by. Similarly, we can write cot theta, secant theta, and cosecant theta. Secant theta is reciprocal of this, so distance by x coordinate. Cosecant theta is distance by y coordinate. So this also similarly we can write. So this is the actual definition of trigonometric functions, right? So sine theta is, so now we can also easily prove that, so even if I take P here or P here, the value is not going to change. Suppose if I take P here or P dash, let us take P dash here. So the value of this is not going to change. We can actually prove from similar triangles. Okay, so I'll not prove it, I'll just give you the hint how to do it. So suppose you may wonder that now if I take points at different, so for the same angle we can take different points, right? For the same angle we can take different points. For example, something like this. So you may be thinking that, okay, so now let's say I am taking a line with angle theta. So this line is making angle theta. So now you may be wondering, if I take point here, I may get some value of p cos theta and sin theta. If I take point here, I may get some other values of cos theta and sin theta. No, it is not going to be like that. Till the time theta is constant, you are going to get same values, right? Because of this. Okay. So let us complete this triangle, these two triangles. So this is one triangle, right angle, and this is another triangle. So now you see, let us call this as M. Let us call this as M dash. Let us call this as O. So now if I say P is alpha comma beta and P dash is gamma comma delta. P dash is gamma comma delta. So on the same line, we are taking two different points. So what I mean to say is, our choice of P, wherever we take P on this line, so our choice of P will not affect the value of cos theta. Cos theta till the time this position of line is same. So wherever you take point on this line, wherever you take P on this line, cos theta sin theta values are not going to change, because cos theta sin theta values will depend only on theta, not on the position of P. So now let us see the definition. So from definition, what is the cos theta? So cos theta is going to be, so if I take point P, it is going to be alpha upon OP. If I sin theta is going to be beta upon OP. Now if I take P dash, so same thing, cos theta will become, cos theta is gamma upon OP dash, and sin theta is going to be delta upon OP dash. So in fact, using similar triangles, you can prove that this is equal to this. Using similar triangles, you see, so you try to prove this triangle POM, or you can say triangle OMP is similar to triangle OM dash P dash. OM dash P dash. That's it. So from the similar triangles, we can actually prove that these two are equal, because you see, so this is going to be alpha, this is going to be beta, and this is going to be gamma, this length is going to be gamma, and this length is going to be delta, this height. So you can actually see that these two are similar triangles. So we can say that alpha upon gamma is equal to OP upon. So from similar triangles, we can say OM upon OM dash is equal to OP upon OP dash. And now what is OM? OM is nothing but alpha upon OM dash is gamma is equal to OP upon OP dash. So now you see alpha upon OP is equal to gamma upon OP dash. So that's it. Now here we have easily proved that alpha upon OP is equal to gamma upon OP dash. That means on this line, wherever we choose P, it is not going to affect the value of cos theta or sin theta. So the value is going to be same. So even if you take this point alpha upon OP, whatever the ratio will come, even if you take this point, the ratio will come the same. Suppose if theta is 30 degrees, here the ratio will come root 3 by 2. Here also the ratio will come root 3 by 2. So this position of the choice of this point, the position of P won't affect the values of cos theta and sin theta as long as theta is constant. So if we keep theta as it is, wherever we choose P on this line, it is not going to affect our values of cos theta and sin theta. So since this is true, what we do is we generally always take a point which is at a unit distance. So because it is very convenient, because when OP is 1 unit, we don't have anything in denominator. Denominator is simply 1. So that's why we prefer to take a point on unit circle. Okay, first let me draw the coordinate axis. So that's why we prefer to take a point on unit circle, because now we have just now proved that this choice So the choice of P will not affect the values of cos theta and sin theta. So to make things easier, what we do is we try to take point P on a unit circle, right? So that will make our job very easy because of the denominator being 1, right? So the denominator being 1, so that will make our life simpler. So this is, so if you take theta, so now I am taking a circle of unit radius. So this point is 1, 0, and this point is 0, 1. This point is minus 1, 0. This point is 0, minus 1. So this will make our life so easier because we don't have to worry about denominator all the time. So this is anyway 1 unit. So we just have to leave OP, right? OP is 1 unit. So suppose if the coordinates of P are alpha, beta, so we can simply write cos theta is equals to alpha upon 1, in fact. So since this radius is 1, so we just have to leave 1, right? We don't have to worry about it. So it is alpha, and sin theta is going to be beta. So from this, actually, we can find all the values, right? So whatever theta you tell me, like in fact, exact value we may not be able to find, but we can actually find it. So approximate value. So if whatever angle you tell me, I can simply draw a line OP with that angle and just find the coordinates of P on this unit circle, because I am making sure that the distance I am taking is 1 unit. So OP I am restricting OP to 1, right? So I'm restricting OP to 1 because that will be easy. In fact, we have proved that OP can be anything, so it doesn't matter. So the ratio will always remain same. So for the sake of convenience, we take this as 1 unit. So if we take a distance as 1 unit, then it will be very easy. So this is the reason why cos alpha. So why for first quadrant angles all are positive, because in first quadrant alpha and beta are positive, right? So in first quadrant, so distance is always 1 unit, which is anyway positive. In first quadrant, both alpha and beta are positive. So that's why sin theta is going to be positive, cos theta is going to be positive when theta is a first quadrant angle. That means when theta lies between 0 and 90. And now when you come to second quadrant, in second quadrant, when theta is between 90 and 180, so here alpha is going to be negative, x coordinate is going to be negative. So that's why cos is going to be negative in second quadrant, whereas sin is going to be positive. Okay, so in the first quadrant, that is from 0 to 90, open 0 to open 90, open 0 to open 90 degrees. So 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, these are called quadrantal angles. This is 0 degrees, this one. This is 90 degrees, this is 270 degrees, this is 360 degrees. These are quadrantal angles. So first quadrant refers to angle between them, right? 0 to 90, open 0 to open 90. So in this interval, both alpha and beta are going to be positive. So that's why cos theta is going to be positive, sin theta is going to be positive when theta is between 0 and 90. So that's why in first quadrant, all are positive, all trigonometric functions, because what is tan theta? Tan theta is nothing but ratio of these alpha upon beta. What is cot theta? Cot theta is again beta upon alpha. Sorry, tan theta is beta upon alpha. So tan theta is beta upon alpha, cos theta is alpha upon beta. And secant theta is 1 upon alpha, cosecant theta is 1 upon beta, because the radius is 1 unit, right? So the distance is 1, so 1 upon beta. So that's it. So that's why in first quadrant, all are positive because alpha and beta are positive. When you come to second quadrant, that is from 90 to 180 degrees, open 90 to open 180 degrees. So in the second quadrant, alpha is going to be negative, because you see in the second quadrant, these are the points. So here alpha is going to be negative, whereas beta is going to be positive. In second quadrant, y coordinate is positive, right? So beta is going to be positive. So cos theta is going to be negative, sin theta is positive. So tan will be negative because positive upon negative, cot will be negative, secant will be negative. So only sine and cosecant are positive in second quadrant. So in first quadrant, all are positive. All values, all will have positive values. In second quadrant, sine and 1 by sine only will have positive values. All other trigonometric functions will have negative values. And in third quadrant, both alpha and beta are negative because you see negative x, negative y. So both alpha and beta are negative. That means, so sine theta is going to be negative, cos theta is going to be negative, but their ratios are going to be positive, tan theta and cot theta. So, and here secant and cosecant are anyway going to be negative because 1 upon alpha, 1 upon beta. So in this, tan and 1 by tan are going to be positive in third quadrant. Tan upon 1 by tan are positive. And in the fourth quadrant, as you can see in the fourth quadrant, alpha is going to be positive, beta is going to be negative, right? X coordinate is going to be positive in fourth quadrant, y coordinate is going to be negative here. So that means here we have cos theta and 1 by cos theta, alpha and 1 by alpha are going to be positive, and remaining all others are going to be negative. So that's why here cos and 1 by cos. So in fourth quadrant, cos and 1 by cos are positive. So ASTC, all silver teacups, right? So ASTC. So all silver teacups. So in the first quadrant, all are positive. In the second quadrant, only sine and 1 by sine are positive. In third quadrant, tan and 1 by tan are positive. In fourth quadrant, cot and 1 by cot are, sorry, cos and 1 by cos are positive. Remaining all are negative, right? So this is why this is the reason that these things, right? So this is the reason why all are positive here. That is the reason, right? So because of the definition of this. Okay, let us move on to the next one, that is reduction formula. Okay, so before we go to reduction formula, I hope you know some of the standard values, right? So, okay, just let us do for sine and cos in between 0 and 90. So, okay, this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis, this is our origin. So this point is going to be 1, 0. Radius is 1 unit. This is going to be 0, 1. This is going to be 0, minus 1, 0. This is going to be 0, minus 1, right? So now if I take, let's say this is point P, it is making theta with the positive x-axis. So now when theta is this, okay, here theta, so we have some standard values: 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. So we can also write it as 0, pi by 6, pi by 4, pi by 3, and pi by 2. Both are same. One is in degrees, other is in radians. So this is theta. And here we are going to write trigonometric function, right? So trigonometric function, right? Here we are going to trigonometric function. Trigonometric function is sine theta, cos theta, all those things. So let us write cos theta or sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. So I hope you know these values already, but just for a recap: secant theta, cosecant theta. So now what is sine 0? What is sine 0? 0 means when you take theta as 0 degrees. So y coordinate upon distance. Distance is always 1, right? So distance is always 1. Sine 0 is going to be 0. Because at when P is at this position. So when P is at this position, so what is the y coordinate of P? Y coordinate of P is 0. So similarly, sine 30, which you already know, I'm not going to prove the value. So the sine 30 is, which you know already, 1 by 2. And sine 45, when theta goes here, it is going to be 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2. And sine 60 is going to be root 3 by 2. And sine 90, when you see at 90 here, when angle becomes 90, so the coordinate is going to be 0, 1. So the y coordinate is 1. So sine 90 is actually 1, right? Similarly, cos theta, it will come in reverse order, right? So when you take at 0, the x coordinate is 1. So x coordinate upon distance, it is 1. Here it is root 3 by 2. Here it is 1 by root 2. Here it is 1 by 2. Here it is 0. And now for tan theta, so it is just ratio of these two, sine upon cos. So this is 0. This is 1 upon root 3. This is 1. This is root 3. And this is not defined. Not defined means we cannot divide with 0, right? So what is tan theta? Tan theta is sine theta upon cos theta. We cannot divide with 0. So that's why it is not defined. Tan 90 is not defined. Similarly, cot theta. Cot theta is cos upon sine. Here it is not defined because sine theta is 0. So 1 upon 0, not defined. And here it is root 3. Here it is 1. Here it is 1 by root 3. And here it is 0. Similarly, secant theta is 1 upon this. So 1. Then here 2 by root 3. Root 2. Then 2. Then here we have not defined. The last one is we have not defined. So then we have 2, then we have root 2, then we have root 3 by 2, then we have 0. Then we have 1, not 0. So this is the table which you already know, right, in 10th class itself. Right, so this is the table. So now, okay. So now with the help of reduction formula, what we can actually do is we can actually try to reduce all other angles. Even if you want angles for bigger values, let's say if you want sine 120, if you want sine 120, or if you want sine 135 or sine 150, some particular angles, some angles which can be reduced to these angles. So for those values, we can actually, if you know these values, we can easily find the values of those as well using the reduction formulas. So how do we use reduction formulas? So reduction formulas proof I am not giving, but I will tell you how we can actually write those reduction formulas. So now suppose if I have something like this. Suppose if I have a sine of 90 plus theta is there, for example. So here, whenever you have odd multiple of 90, the sine will change to cos will change to. So whenever odd multiple of 90 is there, so the function will change. Sine will change to cos will change to sine, tan will change to cot will change to tan, cot will change to tan, secant will change to cosecant will change to secant. Cosecant will change to secant. So whenever you have odd multiple of 90, so this will decide whether should we change the function or not. This will decide whether should we change sine to cos or not, right? So here odd multiple of 90 is there means we have to change the function. So sine will change to cos. So immediately write cos theta. So write cos theta. Even if plus theta is there or minus theta is there, doesn't matter. So it is just write cos theta. Now before this, we need to decide the sign, whether you should put plus sign or minus sign. So this sign is decided by the quadrant. So this is 90 plus theta refers to what? 90 plus theta refers to second quadrant, because this is 90 degrees. 90 degrees plus something. So 90 degrees plus theta refers to second quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is what? Sine is positive, because we know all silver teacups, right? All silver teacups. So in the second quadrant, sine is positive. So that means, so this is an angle in second quadrant and sine is there. So it is going to be positive. So you have to just put plus sign. If it is plus sign, we don't have to put anything also. So we can just leave it like this. Sine of 90 plus theta is simply going to be cos theta. Similarly, if I have cos of 90 plus theta, so if I have cos of 90 plus theta, what will I do now? See here, odd multiple of 90 is there, because 90 into 1. Odd multiple of 90 means what? 90 into 1, 90 into 3, 90 into 5, or 90 into minus 1, 90 into minus 3, and so on. Right? So 90 into minus 3 and so on. So odd multiple of 90 is there, so the function will change. So here odd multiple of 90 is there, so cos will change to sine. So immediately write sine theta. Now we have to decide the sign in front of this, whether we should put plus or we should put minus. That will be decided by the angle quadrant. So this is in second quadrant. You see 90 plus theta is in second quadrant. So in second quadrant cos is what? Cos is negative. So you see in second quadrant cos is negative. In second quadrant only sine and 1 by sine are positive, isn't it? So in second quadrant cos is negative. So that's why we have to put 1 minus sign over here. We have to put 1 minus sign over here. Similarly, what will happen to tan of 90 plus theta? Tan of 90 plus theta is going to be same. You can just divide these two, or you can directly write. So here 90 is there, so tan will change to cot. So directly write cot theta. And 90 plus theta is second quadrant. In second quadrant, tan is negative, so we have to put 1 minus. Similarly, what is cot of 90 plus theta? So cot of 90 plus theta is minus tan theta. So similarly, what is secant of 90 plus theta? It is going to be minus cosecant theta. Minus cosecant theta. Right? And so on. Similarly, cosecant of 90 plus theta is going to be secant 90 plus theta, because in the second quadrant, cosecant is positive, right? Cosecant of 90 plus theta is sine theta. It is going to be sine theta. So here I could not write it properly because that screen is this. So cosecant of, okay, let me write it here. Cosecant of 90 plus theta is going to be secant theta. Why plus secant theta? Because you see in second quadrant, cosecant theta is going to be positive, right? So because in second quadrant, sine and 1 by sine are positive. So 90 is there, so cosecant will change to secant. And here second quadrant, so it will be plus. So only for sine 90 plus theta and cosecant 90 plus theta, it is going to be positive sign. For all others, it is going to be minus. So you see here, it is a minus over here. It is a minus over here, minus over here, minus over here, and minus over here. So remaining 4 functions will have minus. So with the help of this, we can actually find the values of, for example, sine 120, we can easily find. So how we can find? So suppose if you want to find sine 120, suppose if you want to find sine 120, sine 120 degrees. So sine 120 degrees is going to be sine of 90 degrees plus 30 degrees. We can write it like this, isn't it? So 90 is there, odd multiple of 90. So sine will change to what? Cos. So we can actually reduce this larger angle into a smaller angle. So with the help of this formula. So now sin 90 is there, so sine will change to cos, and 30 in place of theta 30 is there, so it will be cos 30. And in second quadrant, sign is positive, so we have to put one plus sign. So that means we leave it as it is. So the answer is root 3 upon 2. So the answer is root 3 upon 2. Similarly, just a minute. So similarly, suppose if you want to find, let's say, similarly, we can find cos 120 also. So suppose if you want to find cos, let's say 160, or not 160, 150. Suppose if I want to find cos 150 degrees, so we can write it as cos of 90. So cos of 90 plus cos of 90 degrees plus 60 degrees. Can write it like this. So we can write this as see 90 plus theta is there. So when you have 90 plus theta, so when you have 90 plus theta, so 90 is there, so cos will change to sine, so it is going to be sine 60. And here 90 plus theta is second quadrant angle. In second quadrant, what is cos? Cos is negative, so we have to put one minus over here. So the answer is minus root 3 by 2. So the answer is minus root 3 by 2. So similarly, we can do for anything, right? If it is the second quadrant angle, right? So similarly, we have reduction formulas for any such angles. So whenever, so this is the strategy. The strategy is whenever you have odd multiple of 90, so write the given angle as 90 plus something or 180 minus something. So some multiple of 90 plus something or minus something. So suppose even if you have, okay, the another formula is, suppose if I have sine of 90 degrees minus theta. So same formula we can use here also, since here 90 is there, so odd multiple, so cos sine will change to cos, which is going to be cos theta. 90 minus theta is first quadrant angle. In first quadrant, sine is positive, so it will be just simply plus. So similarly, cos of 90 minus theta. Cos of 90 degrees minus theta is what? You see, what is 90? 90 is odd multiple of 90. So cos will change to sine. So write it as sine theta. And to decide the sign, doesn't matter whether plus is there or minus is there, it will not matter. So what will decide the sign here? The sign is decided by this quadrant. So this is first quadrant angle. In first quadrant, cos is positive, so we'll just put plus sign over here. Plus sign means we don't have to write anything as well. We need not write anything also, right? So just nothing implies plus, right? So similarly, so tan of 90 minus theta. So tan of 90 minus theta is going to be cot theta, because 90 is there, so tan will change to cot, and first quadrant angle, so in first quadrant tan is positive, like this, cot theta. Similarly, cot of 90 minus theta, cot of 90 minus theta is tan theta, like this. Like this, we can use reduction formula for any such angle. Suppose if you have, let's say, sine of 180 degrees plus theta. Now you see, now it is different. Now here you have even multiple of 90. 2 times 90 is there. So whenever you have even multiple of 90, the function will remain as it is. So sine will be sine. So when you have even multiple of 90, even times 90 degrees. So here plus can be there, minus can be there, it doesn't matter. So when you have even multiple of 90, sine will be sine, sine will be sine. There won't be any change in the function. Sine will be sine, cos will be cos, tan will be tan, cot will be cot, and so on. Cot will be cot, and so on. So there won't be any change in the function. Secant will be secant, cosecant will be cosecant. So function won't change, and the sign is decided previously, right? Sign can be decided like previous case, where you just see the angle and you see the quadrant. You see the quadrant and the function. So you see 180 plus theta is there. So 180 is even multiple of 90. So sign will remain sine. So just write sine theta directly. Now to decide this plus sign or minus sign before sine theta, see this angle. Angle is third quadrant angle. In third quadrant, what is sine? Sine is negative. So we have to put minus. It is going to be minus sine theta. Suppose if I have cos of 180 minus theta is there. So now you see 180 is there. So cos will remain cos. So directly write cos theta. So whether plus is there, minus is there, doesn't matter. So it is just going to be cos theta. Now you see the quadrant. This is second quadrant angle. And in second quadrant, cos is, because 180 minus. So you see these are the quadrants, right? This is 90 degrees. This is 180 degrees. This is 270 degrees. This is 0 degrees, or same as 360 degrees. 0 degrees and 360 degrees are same, right? So now you see 180 minus theta means second quadrant. 90 plus theta or 180 minus theta, both will refer to second quadrant. 90 plus or 180 minus, both refers to second quadrant. So you see 180 minus theta is there. So when you have 180 minus theta, it is second quadrant angle. In second quadrant, cos is negative. So we'll have to put one minus. So minus cos theta. Suppose if you take tan of 270 minus theta. So now the same rule here, 270 is there, odd multiple. So tan will change to cot. So directly write cot theta. After that, to decide the sign, whether you should put plus sign or minus sign, you should see the quadrant. Quadrant is third quadrant, because 270 minus means this way. So 270 minus theta is third quadrant angle. In third quadrant, tan is what? Tan is positive. So we have to just leave it as plus sign. Suppose if you have cot of 270 plus theta. So cot of 270 plus theta, it is going to be minus tan theta. Because you see 270 is there. 270 is odd multiple of 90. And we have this in odd multiple of 90. So cot will change to tan. And 270 plus theta is fourth quadrant angle. 270 plus theta, fourth quadrant angle. So cot of 270 plus 270 in fourth quadrant, cot is what? Cot is negative. So we have to put one minus. So this is the rule. Whenever you see here even multiple of 90, so the functions will not change. Sine will remain sine, cos will remain cos. Whenever you see odd multiple of 90, so tan will change to cot, they will flip. Sine will change to cos, cos will change to sine, tan to cot, cot to tan, secant to cosecant, cosecant to secant, like this. And now the plus and minus sign in front of this is going to be decided by the quadrant. So 180 plus theta is third quadrant. In third quadrant, sine is negative, so that's why minus. Here 180 minus theta is second quadrant. In second quadrant, cos is negative, so that's why minus. 270 minus theta, so this is third quadrant. In third quadrant, tan is positive, that's why plus. And in fourth, okay. And in the last one, 270 plus theta is fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, cot is negative, that's why minus. Clear? So this is how we can use reduction formula, right? So with this reduction formula, we can reduce any larger angle as well. Suppose if you have cot of 2n pi plus theta. So this is the last one for today. So we have covered almost everything which we discussed in the last week. The only thing is sine of a plus b, sine of a minus b formulas. So that hopefully we will see tomorrow. Or so those students who are new, that means they have joined only on Monday. So just message me personally, right? You know my number, right? You have my number in the group. So just message me personally. I'll send the required material, right? Whatever material I have sent to your friends from the last 24th onwards. So whatever material I have sent them, I'll send to you as well. So you can just see those material, and you can also practice the questions which I gave, right? So just message me personally, whoever have joined newly, right? That means this Monday, whoever has joined yesterday. So message those new students, message me. I will send all those material to you, right? Okay. So where are we? Okay, so we are in reduction formula. So the last one in this is, whenever you have something like this, when you have a sine of 360 plus theta, 360 plus theta. So here also we can apply the same formula. 360 is even multiple of 90. So sine will remain sine. So write it as sine theta. And 360 plus theta is fourth quadrant angle. This is 360 plus theta. It is in fourth quadrant. So in fourth quadrant, what is sine? Sorry, 360 plus theta is first quadrant. In first quadrant, sine has positive. So we'll just leave it with plus sign. So it is going to be plus. So let us say cos of 360 plus theta. Cos of 360 plus theta is also going to be cos theta, because in first quadrant, see 90 or even multiple of 90 is there, cos will remain cos, and first quadrant cos is positive, so cos. So like that we can do for others as well. In fact, if we have 360, it is actually like the same thing. We are coming back to the original position, right? Suppose if I have something like this. So if I say theta is this, theta and 360 plus theta. So they are going to be same actually, isn't it? So in one case we have theta, and in another case we have 360. So 360 is one cycle plus theta. So they are going to be same. So we will come back to the same position. If I say 30 degrees, if I say 30 degrees, or if I say 390 degrees, suppose if I say 390 degrees, that means I have to complete one cycle 360 plus 30. So 30 degrees and 390 degrees are going to be same. So they are going to be the same position. So it will have the same value. So if cos 30 is root 3 by 2, cos of 390 is also going to be root 3 by 2, because we will come back to the same position. Even if you go in negative direction, so even if you subtract 360, that means if you go like this is going to be minus 330, minus 330. So it is also going to be same values, right? So we know this cos 30 will be equal to cos 390. This is all are equal, right? Cos 390 is equal to cos, you can add 360 more. So that is going to be 750. And that is also equal to, so this is also equal to cos of minus 330, cos of minus 330. And that is also equal to cos of minus 690, right? So like this. So if you add 360, so here I am adding 360, 360, subtracting 360, 360. So it won't make any difference. So from the given position, if you add 360, you will come back to the same position. If you subtract 360, you will come back to the same position. So this is like adding 360. This is like subtracting 360. We are subtracting 360 by moving clockwise, and here by moving anti-clockwise we are adding 360. So even if you add 360 to a given angle or subtract it, so it is going to be same. So from this we can actually say that sine of, even if you can add 360 twice also, right? So that's why we can say n times 2 pi, n times 2 pi plus theta is equal to sine theta, because 2 pi is like 0, because if you complete 2 pi, n is some integer where n is integer. So similarly, this is valid for even for cos, tan, and cot also, cot, tan, all functions. So 2 pi is like one complete cycle. 2 pi is one complete cycle where, and n is the number of rotations. Suppose if I take n as 1, so I'll take 1 rotation plus theta. So that I will come at the same position as the original position, just like theta and 360 plus theta. If I take n as 2, so it is same as 720 plus 30, because 2 rotations. So first I will do 2 rotations, 1 rotation, then second rotation, 720 plus theta. So I'll come back to the original position, right? So original position was theta. So let's say original position is theta. So now first I will do 1 rotation, 360. Second, I will do 1 more rotation, 720 plus theta. So that's why. So this we can ignore it, because it is just like coming back to the original position. If you rotate 2 pi radians from a given position, you will arrive at the same position. So from here, if you go 360 clockwise or 360 anti-clockwise, or 360 anti-clockwise or 360 clockwise, we will end up in the same position. So that's why sine of 2n pi plus theta is sine theta, where n is integer. Similarly, this formula is valid for cos as well. Cos of 2n pi plus theta is going to be same as cos theta when n is integer. So this is true for even for tan, cot, secant, and cosecant as well, right? So that means this we can apply. Suppose if someone asks you what is cos of 1110 is what? Now we can write this as cos of 1080 plus 30 degrees. And what is 1080? 1080 is 3 into 360. 3 into 360 plus 30 degrees. So it is like a 360 degrees we have to do thrice. That is same as 0, right? So that means, so first you take a reference. So 360, then again 360, then again 360. So it is this we can simply ignore because it is same as 0. So integer times 360. So we will come back to the original position. And then from there plus 30 degrees. Plus 30 degrees means this. So this is same as, this is actually equal to cos 30 degrees. Because integer times 2 pi, we can ignore it because we'll come to the same position. And cos 30 we know is root 3 by 2. So that's it. So this is how we can find cos 1110 degrees. So any higher angle if they give us, we can reduce the angle and find the value. So these are called reduction formulas, right? So this is what we have covered in the last 1 week, right? So now one last formulas are there, 4 formulas, that is sine of a plus b, sine of a minus b. So those formulas, maybe you just contact me personally. I'll try to send the material and also some link where you can see that. So that's it. So we have covered so the new students, now I expect you to be on the same page as the old students, right? So tomorrow we'll briefly see compound angles. I'll just quickly summarize compound angles formulas maybe for half an hour, and then we'll continue. So you are with the class now, right? So those students who joined newly, message me for the material. Message me personally on the group, not on the group. Message me personally in WhatsApp, right? I will send you the material, right? So that's it. That's it for today. So see you. Right? Any questions? Do you have any questions? So it's already 9:40. Those who don't have any questions, they can leave. Only those who have questions, they can be here and ask me. If you have any question, you can just raise your hand. So I think I have made mistake somewhere. I wrote 2 by root 3 in place of 2 by root 3. I think some mistake I have made. Some Ram is asking 2 upon root 3. Yes, cosecant 60 will be 2 upon root 3. I think I might have made mistake while writing that. So okay. Cosecant 90 minus theta is secant theta. Yes. Sai Chaudhary. In degree system, why they have only divided into 90 parts? Why is it so? Because just like that. So they took that as the standard. So just like why we took 100 centimeters as 1 meter. So it is just a norm. So that's why French have taken 100, right? Instead of 90, they took 100. It is our choice. It is completely our choice. Right? So the initial ones, whoever have taken that, they took like that. Okay, I'll send the so I'll send these slides. So even if you even if you miss bridge course, no problem, Amarnath. Like if you are attending today's class, this is what like you can. So this trigonometry, this does not involve quadratic and sequence and series. Anyway, that is not part of intermediate syllabus also, quadratic and sequence and series. So if you are attending from today, that is fine. Right? No problem. You don't have to worry, right? Amarnath. So that's it. So see you then. Bye.